innings.
Couple innings later, here comes young Willie Mays. Sackler says, son, I ain't going to try to trick you. I'm going to throw you 3 fastballs. And Mr. Mays is saying,
Holly
he's
Springs.
17. He's saying to himself, you going to throw me 3 fastballs and I know they coming? And he said he threw 3 straight right by me. I never saw. And on the third strike, Sackler is walking toward home plate. Mr. Mays says he's turning to go back to the dugout. 3 straight right by me. I never saw. And on the third strike, of all time, remembering and delighted in remembering to go back to the dugout by Satchel Paige. I will never fall. And on the third strike, of all time, remembering and delighted in remembering to go back to the dugout by Satchel Paige. I will never fall. And on the third strike.
It's the Adam Gold Show. There's so much going on. We have things going on everywhere. We have 2 major soccer tournaments that will be going on simultaneously. We have one in Europe. We have one in North America. There's a historic baseball game being played today. We have free agency about to start in the National Hockey League as soon as they're done with the Stanley Cup Finals. So many things going on. Hope everybody is having a good day. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria is here. We got tons of stuff to talk about. We have No Crap the Magazine exclusives to reveal. My gosh, we have so many things today. I did read a story today, Victoria. I know you're a big baseball fan. By the way, the Mets' 7-game Grimace winning streak ended yesterday at the hands of the Rangers. Mets lost 5-3, if I'm not mistaken.
Guess we can't call them the McMets now.
Well, we still can't. It all depends. Now
Maybe
we get
it's a
another
home stretch.
Now it could be, but now we get another McDonald's character.
Oh, that's
we
a good
get
idea.
Mayor McCheese to throw out the first burger, and we'll see what happens.
So would Ronald McDonald be like the last hoorah?
Oh, he'd be
like,
certainly be on the list.
Is he the anchor?
Can we,
like we have to cycle through all of them
do
first
we
before we get to Ronald.
We should rank McDonald's characters.
Yeah.
I have to go through them because there's some hidden characters in
There's
there
like
as well.
A burglar one, I think.
There's the Hamburglar.
Yes,
oh,
the
he's
Hamburglar.
I think he's arguable. Grimace might be the most famous one. Grimace is like unnerving.
He is a little bit.
I
mean, Ron's pretty unnerving too.
You're familiar with Elmo, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's a true story, and anybody that has been to New York or is from New York City, recently will attest to this. Because I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's hard to believe. There is an Elmo that actually just walks around.
It's real, like
Lower
a life-size Elmo?
It's somebody who has a life-size Elmo costume. I don't know if it's the person that does Elmo, except Sesame Street Studios, where you would normally find Elmo, is done in Astoria, Queens. So that's not close to Lower Manhattan. But there is somebody in an Elmo costume that just walks around Lower Manhattan. And I'm telling you, that is creepy.
It's very creepy. Is he asking people to tickle him too?
No,
Tickle me?
It's not Tickle Me Elmo. It's just somebody who just walks around. It's the most bizarre thing you've ever seen.
So random.
In New York City, people just walk past it.
Yeah, because it's normal.
It's normal.
It's just a normal day in New York.
I've told you this story when I was up there for the Super Bowl. It was the Broncos and the Seahawks. They were playing, of course, they played the game in New Jersey, but everything was located in New York. And in Times Square, absolute true story, the Denver Bronco, the freaking horse,
yeah,
the white horse with all
Orange
the costume
hair,
on it, all the costume, was just walking around on a leash. Somebody was on a lead. It's not a leash. It's a lead. I don't want to get horse people mad at me. My wife's listening.
Correction.
I know what it's called. On a lead, the horse walking around Times Square, and people just walking past it. Like, it's a horse.
Is this not weird to you?
Like, I get there are horses in, like, Central Park, and in parts of Manhattan, there are police on horseback. But that's not the Denver Bronco.
No. It's so random.
Things just happen in New York City, and people just don't care. They just walk past. They have places to go, subways to get to.
See, I have yet to go up there, but I'm glad that you've prepared me.
Now,
I have been to Las Vegas where people are wearing costumes, and it's just a normal thing. But then they want you to pay for pictures that you take with them.
Oh, okay,
so don't take a picture unless you want to give them $1.
There were it's just $1.
Might be more now.
Just $1. Okay. One more thing, and just because I know that Open that kind of got messed around with was about Willie Mays.
Yes.
And today they're going to have that historic game at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama. It's the Cardinals and the Giants, I believe. Interesting that it is the Giants, right?
Yeah.
So Willie Mays, of course, passed away a couple days ago. There are a lot of people that want the strike zone automated, right?
Yeah.
We watch TV, and we've got that box on TV, and we see the box, all of that. Oh, we just have a box. If it goes in the box, it's a strike. If it doesn't, it's a ball. So Major League Baseball has been experimenting. They use minor league baseball as a proving ground for a lot of different things. And apparently, they're not crazy with the results that they have gotten from AAA and from the AAA level, whether it's the International League or the Pacific Coast League. Neither has met their approval, their qualifications to implement in Major League Baseball. Remember, Rob Manfred a couple of weeks ago was quoted as saying, we're not going to have an automated strike zone even for next year.
Yeah.
And when we do, it would likely be a challenge system, which I think is dumb. If you have it, just have it, right? Or, as I would argue, get better umpires, because better umpires is a way better solution to the problem of balls and strikes. It's not as easy as everybody thinks to implement a strike zone. It's not like the linear, because it's not completely linear. A tennis court doesn't move. A tennis court doesn't change shape. It doesn't get longer or shorter based on the competitors. The strike zone changes up and down based on the hitter. So it's just, we can be as subtle as we want with it, but we are talking about fractions of inches, and it would simply be better served by having better umpires, not automation. My opinion. You may feel differently. And I know everybody gets mad when, how was that not called a strike? Or why was that a strike when it was 8 inches outside? Which obviously happens way too often, but I would argue the best solution Major League Baseball could make would simply be getting better umpires. Okay. That's the start of the show. Now, let's get into it. All right, let's start. Are you ready for the field of 72?
Yes, maybe, no.
Or maybe the field of 76.
Yeah.
Or maybe even the field of 82. Yes, we're talking about the men's basketball tournament in college. The NCAA took a break from lobbying Congress to save their collective tuchuses. You know, if you want to kind of utter mild curses, you can get away with it in foreign languages.
Oh, yes.
You can get away with it in Yiddish.
Right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, big time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anyway,
cute.
It does. Sound like my grandmother.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what the NCAA does most of their, frivolous spending on, lobbying Capitol Hill. But they took a break from that and have presented proposals to the Division I commissioners to expand the NCAA men's basketball tournament. They actually only presented 4 and 8 team expansion models. My question is, why would you do 8? 8 makes no sense to me. 4, well, first, wait a second. Let's just
rewind that back.
Rewind the whole thing. Any expansion makes no sense. I can make a far greater argument for shrinking the field than I could for expanding the field. And I'm not talking about a numbers game in terms of percentages. Remember, the NCAA allowed themselves this freedom, and I'll use air quotes here, freedom, when they basically said, well, 25% of your sport can qualify for postseason championships. And in this case, with roughly 360 Division I men's basketball programs, well, they're free to go to about 90 if they want, which might still make more sense than 76, but that's another matter altogether. But again, I could make an argument for contraction better than I could for expansion. Let's be fair. We get to the end of if anybody pays attention to the bubble teams, none of them are really great. None of them really belong in a championship tournament. I'm not saying that you can't win. Anything can happen. Literally anything can happen in sports. So, but if we're trying to find the most deserving teams, we don't really have to go beyond. We certainly don't have to go beyond where we are now. And I would argue we're at 68, right? We should probably be at 64 and be done with it. But that's not what they want to do. They're going to expand. So, how would it work? First of all, it would involve a second first four site. Right now, the first four consists of 4 games, 8 teams in Dayton. Those are played 2 games Tuesday, 2 games Wednesday, and those teams advance to the bracket, the main draw, starting Thursday and Friday, respectively. Well, this would involve 2 sites for first 4 games. The logistics of which we could all figure out at another time. So it would be, if we add 4 teams, which again, probably the best, we would now have 8 games, right? Because each of those teams would be playing somebody who was already in the bracket. So 4 teams plus 4 teams, 8 teams, 4 games in another site. Let's see, we got 1 in Dayton. Let's put 1 in Albuquerque. Why not? So we have a site in Dayton, a site in Albuquerque. We got the other 2 16 seeds, which are otherwise free into the field. Nope, now you got to earn your way in. And the other 2 11 seeds that were otherwise free into the field. Sorry, you got to play through Albuquerque in order to get in. And here's the benefit of that. It would balance the brackets. And I have said this for a long time. In many ways, you are putting teams at a disadvantage by allowing other teams to kind of get their tournament legs under them. And then even though they have to advance to another site, they have already played a tournament game. And some of these schools who are playing have been off for a better part of a week. And now they've just played 2 days ago. It has been not, I think it gives you a better chance. I could be wrong. The data could prove me wrong. But I would think that, man, once you get the nerves out of the way from actually playing what is an NCAA tournament game with real stakes, you lose and it's over. Those are real stakes. Then I think it gives you a little bit of an edge. Anyway, this would be balancing out all 4 brackets. And I am here for the equity of the bracket. Now, the fact that they were thinking about doing 8 teams creates more inequity. So at that point, I would skip 8, and if they insist, I would just go to 12 more. Again, none of this is necessary to me. I would shrink the field, not add to the field. But if they're going to go beyond 4, simply go to 12. And then all the 15 seeds would be in the exact same position of the 16 seeds. And all the 12 seeds would be in the exact same position of the 11 seeds. So 11s and 12s, there would be not 4 of them. There would be 8 of them. 15s and 16s, there would not be 4 of them. There would be 8 of them. And they would all play their way into the main draw. And my head hurts.
Yes. Gather that.
All right. And then the NCAA could get rid of the NIT. Because all of those teams would be in the field anyway. So, but that is something that they are discussing. So be ready for that. And I know we could probably call my friend Jerry Palm right now, and he would go, Adam, once we get past on the at-large board, once we get past 30, he goes, none of those teams are really that good. Why would we go to 40, however many at-large teams? Correct. Why? There are 37 at-large teams in the field. There are 31 conferences. Wait, the Pac-12's gone away. I think we might be down to 30 conferences now. My fault. So now we have 38 at-large teams. Do we really need 50 at-large teams? No, we do not. All right, here's another college thing to think about. The Big 12 has discussed private equity investment to help bridge their gap with the SEC and the Big 10. The Big 12 currently sits 4th in revenue distribution to each of their conference members. Remember, they are losing Texas and Oklahoma this year to the SEC. They are gaining, what was left of the Pac-12, not named Oregon State and Washington State, after Southern Cal, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington landed in the Big 10. So the Big 12 is considering that. Now, it comes with some negatives, and we'll get to that in a second. But I joked last year with Commissioner Jim Phillips of the ACC. I said, after they announced their deal with the CW, again, this is a joke. Live ACC football, who says no? If they're willing to pay Pat Perez, who I promise 1% of the listening audience knows who it is. 1%. At A Gold Fan, tell me who Pat Perez is. If they're willing to pay Pat Perez $10 million to go play on the Live Tour, I just gave it away. And they still won't know. Because nobody knows who Pat Perez is.
No.
So if they're willing to pay $10 million for him simply to fill out a 48-player field, then hell, we'll pay Boston College to play football. So, again, it's a joke. Not all private equity is nefarious. But this is what the Big 12 is thinking about. And I'm not suggesting the ACC should do it. But if we have decided that it doesn't matter how we make the money we're making, then why should anything be off the table?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
If we don't care anymore, if we are simply out here trying to squeeze blood from a stone, then all's fair. Here's the problem with private equity. Once you have investors, you now owe them something. And we don't have to go any further than that. Once other people have decision-making power, and I'm not saying you give up enough of your equity in the league to cede power to somebody else, but then that money goes away. That's what investors can do. They can say, you know what, this isn't working for us anymore. Not only are we out, but you owe us this.
Yeah, here's your bill.
So, but I will be surprised if we don't, I won't be shocked at all if the Big 12 does, if they do it. I won't be shocked one single bit. Title sponsor, that makes sort of sense. We already have title sponsors for the ACC tournament and the Big 12 tournament and bowl games. We stopped calling bowl games by fruits and vegetables a long time ago.
Exactly.
Right? We just went to, nobody's offended by Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, now it's a Pop-Tart Bowl.
Right, we do. We had with Tony the Tiger Bowl.
Right.
But we did go back because it's one of the, elevated bowl games. We went back to calling it the Peach Bowl, sponsored by Chick-fil-A. But so it's in there in the title. It used to be the Sun Bowl, and then it became I don't even know anymore. That's the Pop. Isn't that the Tony the Tiger Bowl? I think that's the Sun. I have no idea. Then it was the John Hancock Bowl after a while. Like, how many people know John Hancock doesn't even exist anymore? I don't believe. I mean, John Hancock, we know, he's big ego, signed the Declaration of Independence bigger than anybody else. But
Tony the Tiger's Sun Bowl.
See, there you go.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah. Yep. In El Paso.
People in their cars going, gold. No, don't do that.
Do they still make those commercials? They should.
Sort of.
I don't watch cartoons, so I don't know.
Right now, Tony the Tiger, I think, is coaching soccer. The last I saw Tony the Tiger, he was coaching soccer. Anyway, a title sponsorship for your league's sports, or maybe by sport, makes more sense. I will say this: the Dallas Cowboys sold naming rights to their stadium to AT&T, gets them roughly $20 million a year, and I'm not putting ACC football on par with the Dallas Cowboys, but there are a lot more games. And if you ask Florida State, it's the same. So could you sell naming rights to your sports? Maybe. Maybe that's a way to enhance the coffers by, I don't know, $3 to $5 million per school per year. That ain't getting you closer to the SEC or the Big 12 or the Big 10, but it's a way to enhance the numbers. Anyway, do you give schools the right to do that themselves? I wonder, could Florida State sell their games to a title sponsor? The Cheerwine. I'm sorry, that's us here.
Yeah.
What is there a pork rind company in Florida?
Potentially.
Whatever.
Maybe a suntan lotion or something.
The Coppertone.
Yeah.
The Coppertone Florida State football season. So could you do that and raise and allow Florida State to raise more money? Of course, as soon as they did that, Florida's going to do that. And, of course, you'd have state governments get involved. Oh, if Florida State's doing it, then Florida. Well, regardless. Could things like that happen? It would have to be done at the league level before anything. And as soon as that happened, I'm sure somebody else would do it, and then these schools would cry again. Yes. Anyway, that's probably better, safer than private equity, but not nearly as lucrative. All right, before we wrap this up here, and I always go too long on some of these topics, but that's fine. We're still about a month away from the start of Panthers training camp, right? We have now been through 3 different voluntary, involuntary, pop-up tournaments. Not like whatever that pop-up concert was last night when Kendrick Lamar was just absolutely lambasting Drake over and over and over again. My Twitter timeline was loaded with that last
crazy.
night. I really had no idea what was going on. Anyway, so Adam Thielen was on the Rich Eisen show yesterday, and they asked him about Bryce Young and Dave Canales.
Yeah, I think that's why they hired him. I don't think they beat around the bush with that. Is like, hey, this is what Coach Canales his strengths are, and this is what has kind of transpired so far. And he's our guy, Bryce. His first overall draft pick. He's our guy. We've invested a lot in him. Guys, love Bryce and who he is as a person and who he can be as a player. And so I think, that was the reason for the hire. And again, there was a why behind that, which is great, I think.
All right, more from Thielen overall on what he thinks about his new head coach.
like I had heard a lot about him from afar, played against him when he was in Seattle and Tampa Bay, obviously last year. But I think what really has stuck out to me is everyone talked about how much energy and passion he had. And yes, he does have that. But I think it's like the cool and calmness that he has with having that passion that is very unique. For a guy like me, like I'm just all passion. Like I don't have like the calm, and cool, and collected. But he has a unique ability to kind of ride that line of like not too intense, but not too calm. So it's been cool to be around him.
And we haven't even played a game yet. We haven't even gotten to full training camp yet.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
can't wait.
Adam Thielen's very excited, as are supporters of England, who have a 1-0 lead on Denmark. Harry Kane in the 18th minute. Well,
that took a turn.
No, that's fine.
We went from one football to the other football.
Yeah, but I was just giving a score before we hit the break.
That's a good idea.
So it's 1-0 England. I predicted a draw, England and Denmark today. I got yesterday right. We got Scotland and Switzerland finished 1-1. Scotland really stopped trying to score after it became 1-1 and figured, 1 point's good.
They heard your bet, so they wanted to help you out.
Thank you.
And the Cubs heard mine, and they won.
Oh, look at that. Oh, no, the Cubs.
The Cubs won, so I bought them a win.
You bought them a win. Good for you. Very smart. Very smart. Brett Friedlander, Saturday Road. We'll talk about the ACC and potentially in private equity, the expansion of the NCAA basketball tournament, and why he hates Barry Bonds. Next.
Every day, Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Evan Canty and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Why are we pretending that Bronny James is an average prospect? He's LeBron James' son, and he is being treated as such.
To not take visits with any team that calls you is unbelievable to me. He doesn't want to play in the NBA based on the perception that we are getting right now. He wants to play with the Los Angeles Lakers and his father. He should ask to not be drafted.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Adam Gold here from my friend Gordon Miller, the man who invented the no-closing cost mortgage back in 1986, saving people thousands of dollars in closing cost money when they buy a house because closing costs real money. And now let's stop talking about that and let's start talking about something that's way more important than saving thousands of dollars when you buy a house, saving lives. Saving lives, way more important than thousands of dollars. You can always get thousands of dollars back, but if you wait too long, you might not get your own life back. Early detection for prostate cancer for men, or any cancer. Early detection for breast cancer for women, or again, any cancer. Get yourself checked. Go see your doctor. Don't wait until, I'm not feeling right. Do it now. Early detection is the #1 way to combat cancer. Gordon Miller rang the bell over at Duke, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and he feels great, and now we're on to the next. We're on to the rest of his life. Let's make sure you get there, too. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
Hey, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings. We are this close to crowning an NBA champ, and with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. It's super easy to get started with DraftKings if you're a first-timer. Try betting on something like a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's that simple. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. It remains 1-0 England. They are in the 30th minute. Second game of group stage European Football Championships. And for my money, a better tournament than the World Cup. But that's just personal preference to a lot of people. I know what the World Cup means. And we'll get to it in a couple of years when it comes to the United States of America. And by then, Brett Friedlander will have chosen a side, although I'm guessing in the World Cup it'll be the U.S. men's national team. Brett Friedlander, who is the columnist, ACC columnist, SaturdayRoad.com. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Just became a grandparent in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm very excited, yeah.
Mazel.
Good. Thank you very much.
I'll throw a mazel at you. That's the first mazel of the show, by the way.
Hey, there you go. I'm glad. I feel honored that I am the recipient.
Very good. All right, let's get into some kind of. They're not weird, but I am curious your thoughts. We know the Big 12 has explored private equity. It's actually a company in Luxembourg, whatever, that is talking about investing, a couple $100 million in the Big 12. Do you think that's something the ACC should explore?
I don't think it's something anybody should explore in college athletics because private equity is only interested in the bottom line and not the quality of the product. I give you the newspaper industry as as an example, or Red Lobster, or things like that. And the other thing too is you're going to get this money up front, but the bill is going to come due eventually. And I think this is a very short-term solution, and it's a solution that is really fraught with so many speed bumps and so many dangerous things. I think it's something that they really need to steer clear from. I don't think they're going to. I think that this is the way of the future, but I think that there are going to be some people that live to regret it.
All right, so I just want to go back to, because I agree with you. It is there are way too many serious consequences for going down this road. But when you said private equity only cares about the bottom line, all I could think of was, how does that differ from major college sports?
Good point. The problem is that they are worried about the bottom line, but they're also worried about getting into the playoff, winning championships. I mean, I give you Florida State. I mean, they're worried about the bottom line, but the reason they're worried about the bottom line is because they feel that is necessary for them to be able to compete on the field. And I think that the difference is that private equity does care that much about the bottom line, but they could care less about what happens on the field as long as the bottom line comes up with a lot of black numbers.
Well, that is true, but theoretically those two would go hand in hand. Like I have.
So, I mean, does a big bankroll automatically?
No. I said theoretically.
Oh, okay.
Theoretically, it does, and that's the. So I have yet to be convinced, because if the SEC and the Big 12, I'm sorry, I keep saying Big 12, Big 10, which has 16 teams, 18 teams, I don't know how many
18,
teams.
I think. Yeah.
18 teams. If the SEC and the Big 18 weren't doling out, and I'm kind of kicking it forward a little bit here, close to $100 million, give or take, per school in each of those two leagues, and they were just doling out a normal number like $60 million, well, there wouldn't be reason really for Florida State or Clemson or potentially North Carolina to be kvetching about their $47 million pittance, because it would be within the ballpark, right?
Correct.
So they would make do with this. But because those two numbers are about to be so bloated, it has created a scenario in their minds that we just can't compete. And I just don't understand how those two things really should equate. I just don't get it. Because my neighbor has an 80-foot yacht that, well, my 40-foot yacht doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, and like I said before, give a call up to the folks at the University of Nebraska and ask them how that Big Ten disparity is working and how that equates to success on the playing field. Because as I can tell, they weren't in the NCAA tournament in any of the three major sports. So, what are they doing with the money then?
Yeah, that's where we get into the real problem with college sports is wasting the money, right? You spend the money because you have to, as opposed to actually spending the money that actually helps you win. All right, so you and I basically agree on this.
How many coaches are on the payroll at, say, the University of Louisville right now?
Oh, how about, well, yes, but how about all of the analysts, I'll use air quotes here, at the University of Alabama? At least that was the case when Nick Saban was the coach. If you were fired from your job as a head coach somewhere, he would bring you on as an analyst. He would sort of allow you to rehabilitate yourself.
At least he's getting bang for his buck there, because he's bought and paid for ESPN too. So all they have to do is show up, and their losses get hey, they're good losses. So, which is better than a good win, apparently.
Brett Friedlander joining us, ACC columnist, SaturdayRoad.com. Before we get to why you hate Barry Bonds, this is just a fun part of the conversation from yesterday. You and I were going back and forth a little bit on social media, but I want to bring it up anyway because I think it's fun.
Okay.
I'd be okay with a title sponsor for ACC football. It doesn't bring in nearly as much money. But just like you slap a naming rights, sponsor on your stadium, there's nothing that would stop the ACC from selling naming rights to ACC football or basketball or lacrosse or bowling or fishing or whatever, right?
Absolutely. And let's face it, the ACC isn't really the Atlantic Coast Conference anymore, so why not? And like you mentioned, the Big Ten has 18 teams, so why even bother with Big Ten? I mean, every bowl game has got a sponsor. Yeah. Every golf tournament. That's just every stadium. And even though it changes every other year, I mean, why not?
You can change it every year. You can change it every month.
Exactly. So but why not? I mean, if it helps, hey, listen. If it helps keep the revenue disparity in like you said in the ballpark. And keeps the folks at Florida State and Clemson and North Carolina and whoever else a little bit more happy or a little less disgruntled. Why not?
I agree. I think we should explore. Everything should be on the table. And I believe, even though you and I are basically against it for I think smart reasons, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see private equity enter into the college sports arena. I'll be shocked if the Big 12 doesn't end up that route. Are you ready for a field of 72 or 76 or whatever the number is? I just read about it today. Ross Dellinger wrote a piece. They are proposing it to the Division I commissioners. You fired up for it?
No, yeah, because this way we can get more Virginia, Colorado State excitement there in that first four, right? I mean, it's not gonna kill the tournament because the tournament is the tournament, but it is definitely going to take something out of it, and it's going to water down the competition. And what you're going to get is the idea is they're going to try to sell. This gives the little guy more of a chance.
Oh no, it doesn't.
Well, all I offer you is example, exhibit A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. The University of Florida baseball team, right? You sneak them into the tournament at 3 games over 500 because they were underachievers during the regular season, and all of a sudden they figure out, it's time to flip the switch.
Right.
And there they are in the College World Series, because that's what's going to happen there too.
Ole Miss,
you're going to get
right. Didn't Ole Miss do that? They were like the last team in, and then won it a few years ago?
Yes, they did 2 years ago. And so that's what you're going to get in basketball here. You're not going to get the cute Loyola of Chicago or VCU or, going to the Final Four as more. What you're going to get is you're going to get a team that finished 13-17 in the SEC or the ACC or whatever, and there you have it. Whatever. Again, it's a money grab, and it's going to happen whether you like it or not, and I don't like it, but you might as well get used to it because it's coming.
All right, Brett Friedlander, ACC columnist, SaturdayRoad.com. And yesterday, and for the record, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I disagree with you to a point. Okay, just before we even bring up the subject of the next Willie Mays. Because for years, and this is the way I described, this is the greatness of Willie Mays. Roughly 50 some odd years after his retirement, and really 55 years after he was at the height of his powers until really the late 60s. We're still looking for the next Willie Mays.
Yeah.
And I know we thought it was Ken Griffey, but the second half of Ken Griffey Jr.'s career wasn't the same. We were still looking for the next Willie Mays. I submitted yesterday that guy really was Barry Bonds, unless you want to devalue all of it based on Balco, which is everybody's right, and I understand it because I don't like what Barry Bonds did in terms of the impact and the stain that left on the numbers. I don't think it stained the game. I think it stained the numbers of the game. You say no. What say you?
Well, first of all, for the sake of full disclosure, I grew up in Atlanta, and Hank Aaron was one of my childhood heroes.
Yep.
So, to me, Hank Aaron is still the legitimate home run king, so there's some bias there. So
you and Bud Selig are the same on that.
But here's the thing, and the way you presented it, I'm going to agree with you more than disagree with you.
Oh, my gosh.
Because the pre-Balco Barry Bonds was very similar and was heading in that direction of Willie Mays, a five-tool player who just made you go, wow, whether he was hitting, whether he was on the bases, whether he was running down a fly ball, or whether he was, well, maybe not throwing because
he didn't have a great arm.
He let Sid Bream get home. Anyway.
That is true. That's a stain.
But Bream was running with a refrigerator tied to his back, and he still scored. But anyway, I digress. So in that respect, I think Barry Bonds is the most legitimate comparison to Willie Mays pre-Balco. Where I have a problem was the conversation was, now that Willie Mays is gone, who is the greatest living ball player?
Right.
And I will vehemently disagree with anyone who suggested it's Bonds, because while the pre-Balco Bonds was really good and bordering on great, he's still, there's still that he's a cheat.
Yeah.
And so I have a problem with that. And so there you go.
I see, again, agree with more than you think, because I do think that there was nobody that is going to look, I also said this yesterday, that there are a lot of people who will ignore what Bonds did to his own reputation and to the numbers that he ultimately compiled based on steroids. There are a lot of people who will ignore it. because, man, what we saw on the field was...
It was entertaining.
What Barry Bonds made a mockery. It became almost too easy for Barry Bonds.
It's not like he was the only one who was doing it either.
No, that is true. So somebody did come at me like, I bet you think Lance Armstrong was the best cyclist too. I'm like, hell yeah, I did. Because in a sport where everybody was doping, and I always argued that Lance Armstrong should have just gone, yeah, I did it. Everybody was doing it. I just was better at cycling than them while I was doping. That's what I argued then.
If you want to say that Bonds is the greatest living ball player with an asterisk, I'm okay with that. But your earlier question was really an interesting one as to who's the next Willie Mays. And, about a month ago, I might have said Ronald Acuna. But he's heading in the same direction as Ken Griffey Jr. with the injuries. You never know how that's going to affect his career. But right now, I would say that Ellie De La Cruz with the Reds is probably the closest thing, and he's still an embryo as far as his career is concerned.
No question. Oh wow, we had Mazel and embryo on this in the same interview. That is hysterical.
And
Fetch, right? Brett Friedlander, right?
And you also let me fell about my granddaughter.
Thank you very much. Look at this. I said this earlier. I mean, if you want to hide a curse or just add a little flavor, just throw in some Yiddish. It always works. Brett Friedlander,
Absolutely.
ACC Saturday Road columnist. I appreciate your time, my man. I'll talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure, Adam. Thanks.
All right, thanks, man. That was fun. All right, when we come back, it's one-timers, questions and answers with definitive right and wrong responses. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And even as the playoffs wind down in basketball and hockey, there's still stuff worth wagering on if you are so inclined. And FanDuel wants to give you incentive to just keep a little skin in the game. Open up the app and enjoy all summer long. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There is something for everyone every day all summer long. Go to FanDuel.com/AGS, FanDuel.com/AGS, and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 or older and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season is predicted to be among the most active we've ever experienced. Prepare your home now against power outages of all types with a Generac home standby generator from Alternative Power. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, helping protect you and your family. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell has a great sense of timing, like bringing out Southern Blackberry Cobbler ice cream in time for summer. Rich ice cream with luscious blackberry flavor combined with flaky pie crust pieces and a blackberry swirl. The perfect summertime treat.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Elder Abuse Awareness Day is in June, and scams and fraud that target older adults is one of the worst forms of abuse. Learn how to identify, prevent, and report scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Minutes, available for you to view on YouTube. Search AARP North Carolina Minute and look for the AARP North Carolina Fraud Watch Minutes on YouTube. Learn more about this topic and others each week on AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts. You don't need a 4-year degree to have a rewarding career that makes a difference in people's lives every day. As a public power line worker, you'll build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system to keep the lights on in your community. 4 months in a community college program provides the training you need to begin your career as an apprentice line worker in public power. And being a local government employee in North Carolina comes with excellent benefits. To learn more about line worker and other public power careers, visit electricities.com.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
This is Adam Gold.
It was crazy, too. After the first period, the shots on goal, the Maple Leafs goalie didn't even have to do anything most of the game.
Yeah, Joseph Wall was bored.
Yes.
In the first
period. He was
period.
knitting a sweater at one point. I mean,
lovely. A lovely sweater.
He was making syrup. I mean, it was weird.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. It is 1-1 England and Denmark at halftime. Orange wedges for everybody as the Danes have equalized. Morten Humland or Hulmand.
Oh, sounds fancy. I don't know.
But anyway, he scored from well out, too. Great shot just off the inside of the left post and past Jordan Pickford. And it is 1-1 going to the second half. Of course, we got about 15 minutes before we get to that. Gives us time for one-timers, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And it is going to be all over the board today because why not? It's summertime. Officially the first day of summer. That's why all the bump music is summer related.
The 20th is the first day of summer? I thought it was like the 21st or 22nd.
There's a window. It's always between either the 20th or the 22nd of June. It just depends on the sun, and it's, all that kind of stuff. So, but technically today is the longest day of the year.
Yeah, it is.
Today is.
Yeah, it is. It's like the longest show of the year.
What are you saying? You haven't even been here half the week.
Oh, look at this. It's Thursday already. Gosh, how great is that?
I know. It's like your Tuesday. What is going on here?
No, it's my Thursday. Remember, we've talked about this.
Yeah, that's right. You were busy.
Monday straight to Thursday. That's why Chip's on today.
Exactly. So, but going to NBA because people are talking about J.J. Redick. So, is it telling that the Lakers haven't been moving, harder with this J.J. Redick thing? Are they just weighing their options? Because they were going in pretty hard, earlier.
Well, I don't know if they were going in hard on J.J. Redick or not.
No, Dan Hurley. But
that was somebody they were definitely trying to lure away from UConn.
Right.
Look, I think if you're the Lakers, I don't think your coach changes who you draft. So I don't think you have to move all that rapidly. So I don't know how many other candidates they are truly interested in. They might have interest in Monty Williams, who has now been fired twice in the last 3 years, and has great benefits from thanks to it. He's got like $85 million coming to him without coaching.
He totally did the Matt Rule thing.
Oh my gosh, that is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Jimbo Fisher goes, hey, man, that's good work.
Yeah.
That is good work.
You put more work into this than coaching.
So they might be interested in Monty Williams, who was just fired by the Pistons.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, Redick is now the odds-on favorite of the Pistons' next head coach.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Well, moving on to football, not with the feet, but actually pigskin football. So our Panthers, is it telling that the players seem to be pretty excited about the dynamic duo of Dave and Dan. Do you think that will show up on the field?
Oh, it better.
Please.
I don't know what the answer. I don't know if there's a definitive answer to that other than, man, you hope so. Look, I think a realistic expectation is simply that their offense does not look like a train wreck. I think they still have a long way to go, but just have the offense look competent.
Yeah.
I still don't like the receiving options for them.
Yeah.
I think they need more.
Well, at least hopefully they have a plan this time. That's promising.
Yes.
Show some kind of
plan. One plan, not
please,
6.
Please, and stick to it, please. All right, and last but not least, so what is the most memorable thing that you think of when you think of Willie Mays?
We could talk about the catch or the throw, as I read a great piece in the New York Post yesterday. Willie always talked about the throw, which actually saved a run. More than the catch. The catch was amazing. The basket catch is what I think of with Willie Mays.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
I think a lot of what today was about for the Carolina Hurricanes was simply making it seem like Eric Tulsky was the guy. His opening statement started with, it's going to be a complicated offseason. Him cutting the figure as the GM saying, yeah, I know what I have to do, and I'm not afraid of the tough situations. Complicated offseason. We all know that.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Rise and shine, honey. We don't want to miss our flight.
Our flight is in 7 hours. And we have TSA PreCheck with our Navy Federal flagship credit card.
TSA PreCheck? Getting my bugle through security will be so much easier now.
Learn how you can earn up to 3 times points on travel with the flagship credit card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Did somebody say free diamond bracelet? That's right. Diamonds Direct is expanding upon their best offer yet. Make any purchase this month and receive a free diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right. Any engagement ring, any diamond necklace, any timepiece. Purchase any item valued at $10,000 or more and receive a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Every purchase of $10,000 or more qualifies. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet ends June 30th. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Attention soccer fans, North Carolina FC invites you to be part of the excitement. Join us in our electrifying games with top-tier players, thrilling goals, and unforgettable moments. Experience the thrill of this beautiful game with North Carolina FC. Get your tickets now, northcarolinafc.com.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Febreze.
So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The Mets have won 7 in a row.
Yes.
Apparently since Grimace.
Right.
From the McDonald's Grimace.
Yes.
Threw out the first pitch at a game. I have no idea why.
Yeah, I don't.
Grimace threw out a first pitch.
Are we going to call them the McMets now if they keep it going? They should.
They've won 7 in a row. They're only 2 games under 500.
Wow.
They winning streak ended yesterday.
Yeah.
That is too bad.
We could still call them the McMets if we want.
They need another McDonald's character.
Yes. Rotate.
Yeah. They need another one.
Rally.
And then they could race them in the outfield like the Brewers raced the sausages, or how Washington the Nationals raced the presidents.
I love it.
Right? Very good. Also, that's educational.
Right. I know. And they could give out nugs if they win. Like, that could be their new thing.
Yes.
Everybody gets chicken nuggies.
That would be awesome. And then Andy Reid would go to all the games.
Right.
All right. I know it's not a Wednesday. Feels like almost my Wednesday. It's the middle of my week since my week started yesterday. Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast joins us. We are going to talk a little bit about golf in a second, but I want to get your thoughts on a couple of college-ish things first, including something you and I haven't talked about yet, the notion that the Big 12 is potentially dipping into private equity to help close the gap between the Big 12 and the two rich leagues, the SEC and the Big 10. What are your thoughts on private equity dipping their toe or putting their foot in college athletics?
College athletics has been run in a way that is not financially sound.
No way.
College athletics, what'd you used to call it? A no crap exclusive?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those today, by the way.
Yeah. I think that there's also part of the way that college sports needs to be run that should not be financially sound. And it's because we deal with emotions.
Right.
Because the whole idea of why college sports is part of the American sports culture is emotions. It is your emotional tie to a place where either you attended it or you grew up as a fan or you lived near the area for ways that cannot be computed on a spreadsheet. You are willing to give of yourself, your time, your energy, and yes, even your money when it comes to tickets or merchandise or anything of the like, donations for those who are in a different tax bracket. I think that if you try to take the larger college sports model and you hand it to people that are only based in ROI and the spreadsheet approach to life, then you're going to lose even more of the soul than you would argue that we've already seen continue to be stripped away as the money has gone up. So
I'm not even sure we could lose more of the soul of college sports. I'm not trying to disagree because I don't disagree. But I'm not. I think we have. I think the argument that we're losing the soul of college sports is over. We can't use that anymore. I think that just a real world example is that, private equity, they demand their pound of flesh in return, and if you can't give that to them, they're ultimately going to pull their money and then ask for their return or demand their return back, which is ultimately going to end your league anyway.
The soul is the fact that there are still on college campuses ways that revenue athletes interact with non-revenue athletes. And I think that if you are only coming into this with a financial approach, you're just getting rid of anything that does not generate revenue. And, I know that we tell these tales about how football players never leave the facility and there's no interaction, but I've seen otherwise. I have seen, Olympic sports athletes and revenue sports athletes continue to enjoy the fact that they are living among a campus community, both representing their schools. They obviously are very different in terms of the attention they get and the revenue that their sport generates. But I think we'd only have more separation from that, because when I think about the soul of the general college sports world, it's that look, baseball. Is baseball going to make the cut for a private equity?
There's a serious conversation about the future of softball.
Yeah. So when I would say that when I'm thinking about soul, I'm thinking about more the idea of within an athletics department, the connection that while the revenue sports continue to be separated, I do think that there's still a tie there that would be stripped away. There is other approaches to this, though. Private equity, you're gonna give them some ownership.
Yeah.
Private capital, that is an influx of cash, which then the return comes not based on the ownership, but the return comes based on a percentage of growth. There is also maybe the Big 12's, baby steps into this is the idea of, selling off the naming rights. I was on an Arizona podcast, and, Arizona's just showing up to the Big 12.
Yep.
And they were saying, look, if it means $3 or $4 million more in Arizona's pocket, you can call us whatever. You call it whatever conference you want. We don't have any connection
Phillips,
to this.
right? The Phillips 66 Big
Phillips 66 conference.
I talked about that. Here's because I think we should all accept that that's about to happen, right? I think the ACC, I think every school in the ACC should use their uniforms as advertising billboards. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. For people who get bent out of shape, I wonder, do you watch NASCAR? Because I bet some of them do. Not all of them. I don't. But or if you watch football, and we see advertisements on helmets in hockey, and it's starting to be more commonplace in sports. So that's going to happen in college sports. Advertisement on the field is going to happen. So I think all of that should be part of the mix. My only question is, it doesn't get you anywhere close to where the Big 12, rather where the SEC and the Big 10 are.
So, you have to try.
No, but I'm sure you can't really bridge the gap. You at best, you could probably create, and I'm probably overselling it here, at best, through different revenue streams, you could probably create a $10 million bump, right? But we're talking about a gap that's probably going to end up being between anywhere from $40 to $60 million between where the ACC and the Big 12 are and where the SEC and the Big 10 are.
So here's what comes to mind. This is something that Bud Elliott brought up on the Cover 3 podcast recently. How many of these conference commissioners are still going to be in charge of these conferences by the time the revenue gap has ballooned to $40 million? Florida State is pointing to the projections of what it's going to be moving forward,
right,
and how we're going to be $40 million behind. Then, I think that all the conference leadership is looking for short-term solutions. I can talk. And they are only going to be giving short-term answers because they have no answer for the long term, and they're not going to be around for the long term. But if they can leave and say, I generated all this thing for you right now, then even though they've only been able to take about a fourth of what the gap's going to be way down the line, at least they have done something in terms of increasing revenue where revenue was not once coming.
And the other thing, we're talking with Chip Patterson. We normally do this on Wednesday, but this is my Wednesday, so I moved it. But as soon as the ACC or the Big 12 do that, then the SEC and the Big 10 will do it. And so the gap remains the same. So we're not really bridging the gap. But again, I keep pointing to the fact that it doesn't make a difference how big my neighbor's boat is. Mine's pretty big too. I should be able to make do, but that's not the way these people look at it. You couldn't really allow Florida State to do it on their own, could you?
What do you mean? To allow Florida State
sell their own naming rights to? I mean, they could sell their own naming rights to their football stadium, their baseball stadium, their basketball arena.
That's part of the plan.
Right, but,
like that's been expressly laid out, this Osceola project.
Right.
And the Osceola project and all the documents associated with are what kind of tipped everyone off to where Florida State's long-term thinking is in this. That's where the exploration of the investment from other places, of capital from other places. And Drew Weatherford, the Florida State trustee and former quarterback, that's what he's pushing. He's not looking for a private equity investment of an outside hedge fund that's going to own a piece, but it is an influx of capital of which they get it back based on the growth. And the growth comes in part from renaming, selling off the naming rights to Doak Campbell Stadium. And I think that that's something that is going to happen in the next 5 to 6 years and has been part of the way that they look at their own financial future. So, yeah, I mean, the Miami Hurricanes were playing in a stadium whose name was named after a Jimmy Buffett beer. And that was not that long ago. All right. Landshark Stadium.
That stadium's had 17 different names.
I'm just saying that FBS and ACC games were played in a football stadium named after RIP Jimmy Buffett's beer. So let's not act like, the naming rights aspect of this is anything that should concern anyone in terms of, the overall loss of tradition.
I'm 100% with you. As I said before, I believe that we should have advertisements on uniforms, on courts, on fields. We already have advertisements on the outfield walls of stadiums or beyond the outfield walls. It should not be an issue at all.
All right, one final thing on this, because you said I think the Big Ten and the ACC and the SEC would follow.
Yes,
I could also see them going with the Masters route. Remember when the Masters just said, "Fine, no commercials. That's fine."
Do you really?
Like, I could see the Big Ten be like, "No,
really?"
it's okay.
So you're saying that the Big Ten would choose then to somehow have some moral high ground? That's fine.
Here, let's go through. If Big 12 sells to Phillips 66, if Globe Life gets Conference USA, if New York Life gets the ACC, if you just sort of run through and you see them all getting gobbled up, I could see the Big 10 looking down and being like, not for us. Because Big 10 for a long time has had zero to do with the number of schools in the conference and everything to do with the idea of what a Big Ten school is. Yeah. And that's being broken a little bit with some of the West Coast additions, but the majority of the schools in the Big Ten, all 18 of them, are what your mind thinks of as a Big Ten school. So I could see the Big Ten hanging on to that based on the brand value of what a Big Ten school is.
That is fantastic. All right, now let's talk a little golf in our remaining moments. First, you and I sat together 8 days ago, and we wrote off Rory McIlroy. No chance. We were right, Chip. Do you feel like? Do you feel like we were right?
I am. That was one of the more rewarding and engaging weeks that I've had covering sports.
By the way, your piece on Bryson was great.
Thank you.
And it was true. And maybe down the road, this will be remembered as Bryson's U.S. Open. But I think it's going to take some time to get there, because I still think the number one story coming out of it was Rory had it and he threw it away.
So two things. I was just behind the NBC cameraman about 15 feet from Bryson under the magnolia tree when he had the ball against the root.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
And when he asked the rules official if he could get TIO, I said, oh, God, please no. Because we had known Rory had missed the putt.
Right.
And if he had gotten relief from that spot, then it would have looked like a cheap win. I am satisfied that he had to hit off the root.
Oh, yeah.
And he had to hit an amazing bunker shot so that, to your point, yes, Rory lost it, but Bryson had to go and win it.
Yes.
And so I'm glad for the way that we tell the story of the 2024 U.S. Open and one of the more thrilling back nines that we could have. Now, when Rory was bouncing down the fairway, I mean, and that wee lad was bouncing. I mean, he had his chest out. He had a 2-stroke lead. And Bryson even said after the round, he said, I could hear the Rory chants in it. I thought, and I'm doing an impression of him just to let you know the cadence and the way that he explained it. He said, oh no.
Yeah.
And that was the way Bryson described it. And he knew, he was like, oh no, here we go. I'm going to end up on the wrong side of one of the greatest talents of this generation. Here we go. And so, the way that it all fell apart for Rory, I mean, buddy, just his shot on 17. I'm just on the greenside bunker on the left, standing on the other side of that greenside bunker. And I was like, buddy, just landed in the middle of the green below the hole. Why'd you try to make everything? I mean, the decision making, it was not just the missed putts. The decision making
on 15.
The final 4 holes, the decision making was just absolutely mental error after mental error, and they compounded against each other.
Something that we haven't talked about relatively on the show. I haven't seen Golf Channel talk about it. Bless Rory's heart. He's got his best friend from childhood, Harry Diamond, on the bag. Go get yourself a legit PGA Tour caddy, because on the 15th hole, if Steve Williams was carrying for Rory McIlroy, the club that Rory hit would have been somewhere in the trees. It wouldn't have been available to him. Steve Williams would have said, "Nah, man, you are hitting something that cannot get over this green. We're just not going to allow you." By the way, Rory hit 3-wood off the 18th tee all week long until Sunday, and he hit driver. Got himself, it wasn't the worst drive we've ever seen, but he got a bad break. Not really a bad break. He hit it off the fairway. It's not really a bad break. Run the risk. So there were decisions that were made that were incorrect that I think a better caddy would have helped. But honestly, you make the putt. You make the 2.5-foot putt on 16. Honestly, I think he wins the Open if he simply makes that putt. But I think that's when the wheels came off.
And the other moment that I saw up close is when they're going shot for shot. He's standing on the 18th tee box right behind the 17 green that he just missed to the left. And what did Bryson do? He dropped it where you should have dropped it.
Right.
Middle of the green, below the hole, place goes nuts. He pulls the driver, puts it in a bad spot. And it's just, from that moment, I was like, okay. And Bryson missed the birdie putt, but he was at least playing with, he could see everything that was happening. And that to me is what is so exciting about Pinehurst as an anchor site, is we are always going to talk about what that back nine is like, where all the different golfers are going to be able to see each other at all the different spots and hear the roars, and just the way it's so compact just made it really, really special.
All right, final thing for you, Chip Patterson, my friend, Cover 3 podcast. I love talking golf with you. Is it as criminal as I believe it is that we are sending a U.S. Olympic golf team of 4 players and none of them are named Bryson DeChambeau?
100%. Missed opportunity of the highest rating. And when you've got an obvious, because this was, look, hey, let's really get ourselves in trouble. This was one aspect of the Caitlin Clark discourse that I would always follow up with. Okay, so who are you kicking off the team?
Oh, I got an easy one.
Well, for us, I've got an easy one. Punt Wyndham back home.
Yeah, he's not that guy right now.
He is no, you get Wyndham Clark off, you get Bryson on, and look, all the rest of it is fine. Like Colin, Xander, Scotty, great. I can tell you can make that argument, but Wyndham Clark is the obvious sore thumb here, and Bryson DeChambeau would just bring would bring amazing quality golf, as he has one of the best score to par through 3 majors of anyone in this major season. He's been awesome at all three. And then, just also the way that he would embrace that opportunity to be a showman on that stage.
Be a tremendous ambassador for it. The Olympic team is chosen by official world golf ranking, which to me is kind of, we don't really want to have a committee, so how wrong could they be? But it's a 2-year rolling system, the official world golf ranking. So Wyndham Clark is in many ways still living off of last year. Yes, he won a PGA Tour event. He won Pebble Beach this year, I believe. So it's not like he's been a bad player, but he hasn't been close to the level of DeChambeau. And honestly, if you took the first 3 majors, Scheffler, Schauffele, Morikawa, DeChambeau, by far the 4 best American players.
Right.
It should have been an easy one, and especially knowing what we knew from last year, when Brooks Koepka nearly qualified on points for the Ryder Cup team, he was chosen eventually, even though he wasn't one of the top 6, by Zach Johnson, because how could you not, right? But based on last year, there was enough time for the USOC to say, you know what? We should probably think about leaving ourselves an out. But why would you pay attention to that? This is all in retrospect. But it's criminal, honestly. And I'm not a huge Bryson guy. I think you know that. I appreciated what he did. I love how he embraced the crowd and the moment and his ability as a showman, all of that. And I think what he did post-championship was tremendous. But I'm not a huge Bryson DeChambeau fan, but man, does he deserve to be on that team.
Yep. If it is supposed to represent our country's best and brightest in the summer, in the major season of 2024, Bryson has been one of the 4 best American golfers. And it's a big time missed opportunity to try to promote, in an event that is still new, to try to promote the United States presence in that event.
By the way, I'll let you go right here. He's 10th in the world in the official world golf rankings, right? Bryson DeChambeau?
Now.
He's 10th, right? You have whatever your total points are divided by 40 because it's 20 per year. And the number is always 40, the divisor. He's played in 10 official events for the official world golf ranking and is still 10th.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll give some free pub here. I think we should use the data golf rankings for all these decisions moving forward.
I think he's 5th in the official data golf rankings. He's the 4th ranked American.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would make more sense.
I would say, for those who are not aware, data golf does take into consideration the live results because you still gain strokes against the field, and certainly puts a bonus on what you're able to do at the major championships. And Bryson's right there, man.
Belongs in the team. Chip Patterson, you would be my 5th choice if we were taking 5. I will talk to you very soon, my friend. I appreciate your time.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
That's Chip Patterson at Chip_Patterson on Twitter. Look, I'm not a huge Bryson guy. And on Twitter, I'm going back and forth with people, and they're bringing up stupid arguments. He's one of the 4 best American players, and it's not even close. So we're sending a team that isn't as good as it could be based on, honestly, a random, easy way out method of selection. That's what it is. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and I'm going to give somebody the opportunity to show how smart they are. We're going to play a little game. We did it. We got to name 5, right? I've got a couple of opportunities for people to win basically nothing. But maybe somebody will impress their spouse.
Bragging rights.
Like that guy didn't.
Or not impress.
Right.
Rob from Nightdale.
We
love you, Rob.
Embarrassed himself in front of his wife, who could not believe he couldn't name state capitals.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. We'll call it Take 5 next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
99.9 The Fan and Arise Urology Clinic present Men's Health Month. Smoking causes cancer, heart disease, a greater risk of stroke, and increased risk of erectile dysfunction. Start your winning streak now and commit to quit. You'll fix your organs, get your looks back, and end the smoker's cough. The long-term benefits lower the chance of death and decrease your danger to your body for your future. Men's Health Month is powered by Arise. Call Arise Urology Clinic for Men at 919-964-3750 or visit CoreWaveTherapy.com.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money, your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time." So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities. Just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling. Better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give MVP's Pro Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not an MVP's Pro Rewards member? Join today.
This is Adam Gold.
I had no idea John is a Cubs fan, too.
Yeah, I think that's a prerequisite to being the head coach at Duke. I made one comment about the Cubs to Mike Krzyzewski. Goes back a while ago. Talked about the pitching staff, and he goes, yeah, but I don't trust Victor Zambrano. Like, what?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. We are in the 70th minute. England and Denmark 1-1. Remember, that was one of our place your bets yesterday. This will be the match that causes England fans, actually more the England media, the press, to lose their collective minds when they get a disappointing draw with Denmark, which, frankly, there's a lot of good players for Denmark. but it is 1-1. But England just subbed off Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka, and Phil Foden and brought on Ollie Watkins, Eberechi Eze, and Jared Bowen. And frankly, that front three would be as good as most nations' front threes in the entire Euro. So England's loaded, and I'm not worried about them long term. I don't pick them to win. I said yesterday I picked another nation, but I'm not going to mention another nation because it might give away the answer to our first question. So we're just going to goof around here a little bit. We'll play a game. We'll play Take 5. I have 2 different versions of it. And we don't have any music. Do we have any? Oh, we do.
Yes,
the
I'm
match
prepared.
game music. The match game.
Yes.
Oh, man, I love this. We should create questions like the old match game.
Oh, boy.
I love
That would be
Gene
great.
Rayburn with the
With the
really
mic.
skinny mic with the little knob on the end of it.
Right?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Probably didn't even work at all. Like it was just
Oh,
there was
no,
a
no.
prop.
He was probably wearing a lavalier mic, but just holding the little stick.
Yep.
Whatever he was holding. All right, we got Graham. Do I have Graham and Raleigh? All right, first let me give the numbers out if anybody else wants to play. 919-860-5326, 919-860-5FAN. If that helps. It actually doesn't help because then you have to look at the numbers on your phone. So 5326. All right, Graham, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question. You have to come up with 5 correct answers to this question, and we'll sort of have a loose clock on it. I'll give you like a minute. And the answer to this is easier than you think, okay? That is my only hint before I ask the question. The European Football Championship started earlier. I guess it started this past weekend. I'm watching a match right now. I need you to name 5 nations that have won the European Football Championship. 5 nations that have won it. Go.
Germany, Spain, Portugal, Denmark.
Denmark has. That's right. You're good. You got 5 right out of the gate. See, here's how this question becomes easier. You want to try to clear the board? You want to go for all 10?
Italy, England.
England has never won it, which is even more amazing when they talk about, let's bring the trophy home. Home to where? Italy,
Sweden,
yes.
maybe?
What?
Sweden?
No.
I'm running out of names.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
You got all the big ones. But the reason that question becomes easy is that, man, can you just name off European countries? I mean, we have a lot, right? There's a lot of European countries. But I don't think anybody's going to name Liechtenstein. Congratulations, Graham. You win nothing.
Outstanding. Can't wait to tell my wife.
Thank you very much, Graham. That was outstanding. All right, we're going to try this one more time. All right? We're going to try this one more time.
Yes, this is
Let's go
great.
to Adam in Apex. Adam, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Adam?
Doing very well. Appreciate you trying to win nothing as well.
Yeah, always.
At some
and
point...
I'm going to do really bad.
No, you're going to do fine. I'm sure you're going to do fine. And eventually, if I prepare enough, we'll eventually have prizes. All right, so here we go. Copa America starts today, actually, with one match tonight, one match tomorrow, and I think one match on Saturday. Doesn't make any sense to start it this way, but that's the way they're doing it. Name for me 5 nations that have won Copa America.
All right. So I'm going to go with Brazil.
Yes.
Seems like a no-brainer.
Seems.
Let's go with Argentina.
Yes, very good. 2 for 2.
Colombia, maybe?
Yes, in 2001, Colombia won.
I already said Argentina. I already said Brazil.
Can't use them again.
Chile, maybe?
Chile, yes, has won. Twice, actually.
Man, that's all I got.
The same hint applies to the other question. It's an easier question than you think.
You're right. Mexico?
Mexico, no.
All right, I'm going to do one more. Bolivia.
Because they're in South America. You could have just simply named South American countries.
About South American nations. It was a much easier question than it seemed.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. But still, you named 5. We finally got to it. Uruguay actually is tied with Argentina for the most Copa America championships, and it was played more frequently, and it was called something else at different times. And then once you get past Argentina, Uruguay, and Brazil, then nobody else has won it more than twice. Ecuador, the only main South American nation that has not won, I believe.
Well, there you go.
Might have been another one.
You know.
There you go. Well, congratulations for winning nothing, Adam.
Always. It's just a pleasure to be talking to you. Been listening to you since I was a 15-year-old, and I am 32 now. So.
Did you do that? But just why did you have to do that to me just now? It's like, okay. Well, thank you. No, seriously, thank you very much.
I've been a long and suffering Canes fan with you, my friend. So
all right, well,
I'm here with you.
Since I got you here, you're a Canes fan.
Yes. Sir.
Tell me what you think their next order of business should be.
Next order of business, you got to sign Slavin. I mean, it's not even. It's like I saw on Twitter. Floating around like 6 at like $8 million per year.
No, it was 8 at 6.5 per year.
I had it reversed. That would be the signing of the decade for the Canes. I think Slavin is a no-brainer, and he has to be part of the core group for us to have any chance of getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. He will be one of the very next things that they do. Jarvis, Martinook, I think. And
honestly, I think we should get rid of Natchez to try to get some sort of goalie prospect or some sort of something in the goalie area.
They need a goalie. I don't know that those two things need to be tied together, but
certainly,
I will say this. Here's what I would do. I would trade Natchez and take what I think would be the savings for Martin Natchez and apply it to Elias Lindholm.
Exactly.
But that's
he
just
wants
me.
To play center. He wants to play center. The man wants to play center. His dad, let the cat out of the bag.
His dad wants to play center too. Let's get somebody who can actually play center. All right, Adam. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you very much for playing and winning
I'll
nothing.
Be listening every day, like always. The past 15 years, my friend.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll stretch. We'll place bets, and by then we might have an update on what's going on in wherever they're playing. It's somewhere in Germany today, but England and Denmark remain 1-1 79th minute. Next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Avant Articulated Loaders for the right equipment to help get your work done. Avant makes the most multifunctional loaders in the world. Whether you're a landscaping pro or homeowner serious about property maintenance, you need an Avant loader. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized Avant dealer for sales, service, part, and rentals. Visit one of our 7 locations or actce.com for more details about Avant Articulated Loaders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we like calling North Carolina home because being local matters. It's why in every county, we have agents whose hometown is your town. That means we're there when you need us most, with personal service you'd expect from a friend or neighbor. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now. Bluebell is known for flavors that push the boundaries of taste. Our oatmeal cream pie ice cream is an oatmeal-flavored ice cream with hints of brown sugar mixed with soft oatmeal cookies and a vanilla icing swirl. We've set the bar sky high for deliciousness. The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Elder Abuse Awareness Day is in June, and scams and fraud that target older adults is one of the worst forms of abuse. Learn how to identify, prevent, and report scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Minutes, available for you to view on YouTube. Search AARP North Carolina Minute and look for the AARP North Carolina Fraud Watch Minutes on YouTube. Learn more about this topic and others each week on AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts. You don't need a 4-year degree to have a rewarding career that makes a difference in people's lives every day. As a public power line worker, you'll build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system to keep the lights on in your community. 4 months in a community college program provides the training you need to begin your career as an apprentice line worker in public power. And being a local government employee in North Carolina comes with excellent benefits. To learn more about line worker and other public power careers, visit electricities.com.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
When you want to start something new, you don't have to do it alone. Whether you're a first-time student or returning to college, CFNC is right there with you. From deadlines to financial planning to completing your FAFSA, CFNC helps students of all ages in North Carolina stay on track and navigate the college process. Create an account today at cfnc.org and start your something new.
This is Adam Gold.
There are people out there that just, you must draft a quarterback.
Yeah, why you don't want a quarterback?
Exactly. What is wrong with you? Oh, you don't want apple pie?
Right.
Come on.
A la mode? Oh, maybe I like brownies, okay?
I don't want it there.
The temptation.
Yeah, I don't need it. Because I can convince myself, apple's healthy.
Right.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Still 1-1, England and Denmark. They're in the 84th minute. And this would be a disappointing result for England, a great result for Denmark, who drew their first match with, I believe, Slovenia, either Slovenia or Serbia. Anyway, Slovenia and Serbia have already played to a 1-1 draw today. Group stage, man. Draws are great bets. They really are. There's a lot of draws. Teams just okay, whatever. We don't have to exert ourselves here. England did start the same lineup in the same starting 11 as they did in their first match. Same one, which is they have a lot of ridiculously good players. Their squad is nuts how good it is. France's squad is great. Portugal's squad is great. I'll be surprised if the winner doesn't come from one of those three, although Germany on home soil is very good. Italy has been very good in this tournament before. In fact, I think they're the reigning champs. I think they won the last time in 2020. All right. Real quick, I just want to clear up, not clear up, but just kind of expound on the Bryson DeChambeau thing a little bit, because the argument that was made against DeChambeau being on Team USA is that, he knew the rules. When you go to live, you don't get world golf rankings points. Yeah, he did. And Brooks Koepka knew the rules that you don't accumulate points for the Ryder Cup team when you go to live, except that there are moments when you do accumulate points and you do accumulate world rankings points because you accumulate, the Ryder Cup teams are selected based on money, not on world rankings points. And the only time Koepka received money that was used to calculate the Ryder Cup standings was in majors or in any events in that 2-year window where he played on the PGA Tour, because he left about midway through. DeChambeau was an original liver, if you will. But that's a PGA Tour live deal. That has nothing to do with the Olympic team. And we could all be as mad, and I can't think of another word right now, as we want about what live golf has done to professional golf and how it has taken, 15 of the best players and allowed them to make, anywhere from 5 to 15 times more money than they would on the PGA Tour. I mean, if you are Dustin Johnson and you made $200 million for going, which is roughly the number, I think, that's probably close to $15 million more than the way he is performing, which isn't very good, what he would have probably earned on the PGA Tour. It's maybe not 15, might be 10. So, but that's a PGA Tour live deal. That has nothing to do with the U.S. Olympic team, whose job it should be to simply take the 4 best players they can. So it's sort of random and lazy that they're using this. And I get, if you don't like live, chances are your opinion of it falls into it's the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and argue about that. They've got a terrible human rights record. We all know it, right? Some people choose to ignore it. I don't think you should ignore it, but I also don't think that's the best argument against it. So I don't use it. I'm not going to pretend I don't love it, but I'm not going to pretend that I live my life in such a pristine way that I don't also. I took an Uber today. Uber's biggest investor is the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. Biggest one. I took an Uber today. I have an Amazon Prime account. I have gone to a Starbucks. What are we doing? If you really want to argue against that, then you better live that life. And some of you do, and that's fine. Like I said, don't love it. But I don't think that's the best argument against it, and I have always made what I believe to be the best arguments against live golf. It is based on nothing. The tournaments have no soul to them at all. Granted, maybe over time, some of them will matter, except they have had so few tournaments in now year 3 that are on the same golf course that it's really hard to establish anything. Right? Oh, they play music and they wear shorts. So what? I want to see somebody win an event that matters. 0 of the live golf events matter. I don't care about the shotgun start. I don't care about the limited fields. Those don't help it. But that doesn't move me. What moves me is winning an event that matters. We have limited field events on the PGA Tour. We have no-cut events on the PGA Tour. And in most of those, if not all of those events, the winner matters. Not on live. So I'd rather make the better argument as to why live is bad, not bad, but not good for the sport versus what the PGA Tour tries to do. I'm not saying the PGA Tour is perfect. They have screwed this up from the beginning. But Liv is throwing money around because it doesn't matter how much money they're throwing around. When your public investment fund has a regenerating $720 billion account, you can spend $5 billion on your league and you have not eaten into your coffers at all because that money just regenerates. It's fake. But all they did was say to the likes of John Rahm, hey, come over here and make $300 million. It'll take you 10 years to make $300 million on the PGA Tour. We'll give it to you today. And he could take it. And I'm not going to say that he was bad for doing it. Because I've always joked, man, I wish they loved sports radio. So, to me, it's a fake league, and that's why I don't like it. But it should have nothing to do with the U.S. Olympic team. It should have nothing to do with the Ryder Cup team. Best players. We're trying to win the damn thing. Take the best players. All right. I screwed the whole thing. We have time to stretch?
Sure, because this is good news.
All right, I like this.
I like this. Well, it's good news for me, maybe, because I love cheese. I don't know if you love cheese, but it's.
I mean, who doesn't love cheese?
I actually have heard of people who don't like cheese. I understand it doesn't always, some people can't eat it, but no. How do you not love cheese? It makes things so much better. Well, the secret to living longer might be within cheese.
Really?
Not really, but sort of, because a new study in China is saying that the single most important contributor to being healthy when it comes to aging and longevity is, quote, mental well-being. And what brings us mental well-being? Cheese.
Really?
It does me. But also, you have to be careful because not all cheese is created equally. So, and they're not saying to go out and eat a bunch of Cheez-Its, which I wish we could because I do love Cheez-Its too. But they're basically saying that you should just enjoy your life. You only live once, and so if little things like that make you happier, put the cheese on the burger. Do not eat it naked. I cannot eat a burger without cheese. So go ahead, do it. You might live longer even when people want to say that you won't because cheese isn't good for you. But
cheese
you know
is
what?
delicious.
It is delicious. So just go ahead.
Except American cheese. Keep that. Just keep it. It's not really, it's not real.
The single, yeah, exactly. Well, that leads into the last but not least topic for today, because a lot of people, apparently to the survey, they say don't know what ultra-processed food is, which is that.
American cheese. Velveeta.
Oh, gosh, yeah, that block
Keep
cheese.
all your Velveeta.
I know, which I can't say that I haven't had it before, but yes. So basically, 44% of people think that just means fast food, and you would be
wrong, sir. Wrong.
It is actually just any food that's not natural. So when you think of fruits and vegetables, that is unprocessed foods, that kind of stuff, nuts, milk, meat, things. But yeah, processed food are like our chips and our fruit juices and all that stuff. So be careful with that in case you aren't aware of what those are. Or just, your sliced cheese. But hey, I love cheese, so eat your cheese.
Eat your cheese.
Eat your cheese.
And shut up.
And make good bets.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
People, take my advice. I'm giving you winners.
Yeah.
In Euro.
Yeah.
England, Denmark finished 1-1. I told you yesterday.
Love a draw.
It was going to be a draw. Stick with me, people.
Right.
Stick with me.
You know what you're talking about with this.
Whatever.
Well, I like to think I know what I'm talking about with some hockey, and I'm going to do hockey bets even though the game is tomorrow. But I have UFC bets for tomorrow. So there's MMA this weekend. So Panthers versus Oilers. Please, let's not be the last game, but I think Evan Rodriguez will be an anytime goal scorer because he is hot in this series, and he's plus 430.
Yeah, it scores every game, it seems.
And he's plus 430. That feels like free money.
Been tremendous.
Yes.
I can't believe he signed a 4-year contract last year. All right, I've given you another winner. I'm actually going to give you a winner. Coming up at 3 o'clock, it's Italy, Spain. This is two of the all-time nations in Euro. Italy with the upset plus 260 today.
Ooh, okay. Well, my next one, I could see this game going into OT, the Oilers and Panthers, because it is a do-or-die game. Even though it's in Edmonton, yes. Will there be overtime? Yes. Plus 330.
All right. Yeah. Oh, so we're doing all because you're doing MMA tomorrow. That's
yes.
Right. All right. Tomorrow, I think the first match at the European Championships, Poland. Actually, I think it's the second match, Poland and Austria. That's going to be a draw. Plus 230.
Ooh, another draw. Let's go. And my final hockey bet. I think the Oilers are going to win and take us to a Game 7. Please and thank you. And I think it will be over because McDavid might score another 4 goals. So that's over 5.5 plus 234.
All right, the first match in Copa America is tonight. Argentina and Canada are playing. Why? We're not even going to bother with that. And I'm not going to take Argentina to win Copa because it's plus 175. So let's go a little bit off the board. Colombia, plus 1,200 to win.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man, Coach Pete Deruta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. He is a retirement planning guru. Everybody's got an expertise in life. Coach Pete Deruta helps people plan for retirement. We call him Coach because he has a game plan that is tailor-made for your needs, like any great coach does. Not everybody is the same. People need things tailored to what they want to do, where they are on the employment timeline, all of that. So all you got to do to get to Coach Pete Deruta and get your own total customized retirement plan for free, by the way, is call 888-843-0013, or you can text Adam to 600-700. And when you get this, Coach Pete will set you up for retirement. Here's the game plan. Here's how we achieve your financial goals. Here's how you get to do whatever it is you want to do in retirement on your terms. 888-843-0013, or you can text Adam to 600-700. Use the expert, Coach Pete Deruta. Call today.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew, 30 seconds, that's it. Done. Peace.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Welcoming you back to appointment day at the Martinez house. Raul Martinez looking stressed about scheduling a colon cancer screening. But he just pledged to get screened.
Stand Up to Cancer and Optum want to help you reduce your risk for cancer. Visit takeahealthystand.org.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Did somebody say free diamond bracelet? That's right. Diamonds Direct is expanding upon their best offer yet. Make any purchase this month and receive a free diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right. Any engagement ring, any diamond necklace, any timepiece. Purchase any item valued at $10,000 or more and receive a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Every purchase of $10,000 or more qualifies. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet ends June 30th. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Say, Willie, that Giants kid is great.
The San Francisco Giants do not exist without Willie Mays. It's as simple as that. And the Giants were the highest grossing team on the road for like a decade in the middle of his career because of him. I mean, the guy was an American superstar. We throw that word out all the time these days. Oh, this guy's a superstar, this superstar, that, just because he's got a max contract in the NBA in some random town. No. Willie Mays was a superstar. That's the definition of it. And all these other people were just trying to play for second.
That was Clinton Yates from ESPN, who's a contributor to many platforms there, talking about Willie Mays. There'll be a tribute to Willie Mays throughout the Major League Baseball game played at Rickwood Field in Birmingham. It's the oldest baseball stadium in the United States. And they will, I think, something to the neighborhood like 180 Hall of Famers, like that's a big number, have played a game or in some cases umpired a game at Rickwood Field. I think the game is on Fox. I'm not 100% sure where who is televising the game tonight. It is the Giants and the Cardinals? I think it's St. Louis. I think it's St. Louis and the Giants. Yeah. It's the Cardinals and the Giants who are playing the game. And I guess fittingly, it's the Giants involved in the game with the passing of Willie Mays. But, yeah, look, Willie was an enormous influence on a lot of things. But he was, just to talk about it in a baseball sense, he was really one of one. There's nobody ever like him. There hasn't been anybody like him. I mean, we've had players in baseball who were close in maybe one aspect or another to Willie Mays, but nobody that has equaled Willie Mays. And which is why we're still searching for the next one. And we may always be searching for the next one, just like we might always be searching for the next Tiger Woods. When it comes to golf, just one of one. Mm-hmm. There is really no substitute. All right, lots to do. Brian Geisinger is going to join us in about 15 minutes, and we are going to talk a little NBA draft, which is 6 days from today, right? 6 days, the 26th.
Wow,
6 days away,
and it just ended.
Yeah, well, yes, the season did just end. In that regard, it's a lot like the sort of has some similarities to the WNBA. As soon as the women's college basketball season is over, the draft is like in a week.
Yeah, right.
So now, but the NBA season will end, the finals will end, or have ended, and we have the draft next Wednesday night. Next Wednesday night, yes. All right, so let's get to the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, so is J.J. Redick still the hotness for the Lakers? Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN.
No offer yet to J.J. Redick. The Lakers have only made one offer in this process. That was the UConn coach Dan Hurley, who turned it down last week. But for J.J. Redick, certainly he is in a prominent position in this search now. He interviewed in LA over the weekend. He's had communication with the Lakers since then. So have, another candidate or two also. The Lakers have continued to stay in touch. But certainly, J.J. Redick is in a strong position for this job. No offer has been made yet. But once Dan Hurley passed on the job, Redick then again became front and center in this Lakers search.
So, for what it's worth, the betting markets that it would allow you to bet on some of these things, like FanDuel, BetMGM, they won't put betting markets up for who the next coach will be. But the betting markets that will allow, like offshore betting accounts, Redick is the favorite for the Pistons job. Okay. Stephen A., do you think JJ would even take the Lakers gig?
Let's assume he'll get offered it. We don't know if he'll accept it, because if the Lakers try and lowball him, or they reveal yet again there's some financial difficulties that they'll take into consideration, you never know. Because again, this is what I will say about J.J. Redick. I think he's a brilliant basketball mind. We got mad respect for him. We got love for him here at this network. I can tell you that much. But he is an acquired taste. You understand? J.J. knows it. I love you, J.J. But he's an acquired taste, all right? He's my cup of tea. He ain't everybody's cup of tea. And JJ does not suffer fools much. It's hard for him to tolerate. Well, some people would perceive there being a lot of foolishness from time to time with the Lakers organization. I'm not calling any of them that. I love me some Jeannie. I respect Rob Pelinka. Linda Rampus is great. Kurt Rambis, stuff like that. Somebody like JJ dealing with the myriad of things that coaching the Lakers would throw in your direction. Wow, that's a lot to ask that brother to do.
All right, well, I don't know how all of that. Can he coach? Can he coach? Can he manage? Like, I think there are genuine questions about whether or not J.J. Redick, in your first head coaching job, can you manage not LeBron, not Anthony Davis? Can you manage the aura of the Lakers? Can that be your first gig? That literally would be asking somebody that has never been a baseball manager, hey, your first job will be to manage the Yankees. Very first managerial job. You've never coached. You've never done anything. You've done some broadcasting. You've done a podcast or 6. But
you're
now
friends with Aaron Judge.
Right. Now you're going to be the manager of the Yankees.
Right.
It ain't about Judge or the players. It's about everything.
Yeah.
That would be a very difficult ask. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying those are the questions I would ask. All right, 2. The Carolina Panthers, who are now in a little bit of a down period before they crank back up late next month. Adam Thielen, wide receiver extraordinaire, was on the Rich Eisen show and talked about the way he sees Bryce Young and Dave Canales working.
Yeah, I think that's why they hired him. I don't think they beat around the bush with that. It's like, hey, this is what Coach Canales his strengths are, and this is what has kind of transpired so far. And he's our guy, Bryce. His first overall draft pick. He's our guy. We've invested a lot in him. Guys, love Bryce, who he is as a person, and who he can be as a player. And so I think, that was the reason for the hire. And again, there was a why behind that, which is great, I think.
That's part 1 of Adam Thielen and the and his view of Dave Canales and Bryce Young. Now, what does he think specifically of Canales?
I had heard a lot about him from afar. Played against him when he was in Seattle and Tampa Bay, obviously last year. But I think what really has stuck out to me is everyone talked about how much energy and passion he had. And yes, he does have that. But I think it's like the cool and calmness that he has with having that passion that is very unique. For a guy like me, I'm just all passion. I don't have the calm and cool and collected. But he has a unique ability to kind of ride that line of not too intense, but not too calm. So it's been cool to be around him.
I hope it all works out. I like everything about what we've seen from Dave Canales. I hope it all does work out. All right, to hockey. All right, let's do that. Frank Corrado, who is on a podcast, and I'm not even sure who Frank Corrado is, but Frank Corrado talking about the Vancouver Canucks' pursuit of Jake Guentzel.
I don't worry about it, especially in, if it's a 7-year deal, which would be a long time, years 1, 2, 3, and 4, I don't worry about it. And I think for, the Canucks, it's like they're trying to be good, now. So you're trying to catch that lightning in a bottle and see if you can grab the last 4 to 5 years of Jake Guentzel's, high productivity.
All right. I get a lot of people who respond to me on Twitter when I talk about the next thing the Hurricanes should do. And we had our game show guest, Adam.
Yes.
Wants Jacob Slavin to be the next order of business for Eric Tulsky. It might end up being because that's probably the easiest thing to get done. To me, the next order of business, and I don't care how you rank them, it's one of it's Jordan Martinook, it's Seth Jarvis to a contract extension, because that's a big one. It's potentially how you approach the next couple of years of Jack Drury. I would do a multi-year deal with Jack. It's not going to be a lot of money. It's not going to be very long. And if you're Jack Drury, you wouldn't want it to be very long. You wouldn't want to pigeonhole yourself into a short, like a low money deal for more than 2 years. But I think that's likely what they'll do. I think you could do the same thing with Steph Nason. But I guess so many people would say, go get Jake Guentzel. Jake Guentzel was always going to July 1. And because he is a multiple 40-goal-per-year scorer, it is going to take probably in the neighborhood of $9.5 to maybe even $10 or $10.5 million annually to get Guentzel to sign. And I think there is as much chance that they pay me that much money to sign as they pay anybody that much money to sign a contract. And that's not because they don't think Jake Guentzel is worth the money. It's that they have a lot of things to do. Jarvis is going to get big money. Slavin's going to get a little bit of a raise, but nothing earth-shattering. And there really are a lot of things they would like to be able to do. And I just don't think Jake Guentzel is going to fit into the grand scheme of things. I think they would love Guentzel to come back on a number that fits them, which would be something in the 8.5 range. But I don't think they're going to do that either. And honestly, even though I don't believe this will happen, since you're not going to bring back Martin Necas, take the money that Necas would get and go throw it at Elias Lindholm and see if you can't get Lindholm to be the Hurricane that they wanted him to be initially. Good in the middle of the ice, great in faceoffs, great two-way player in all situations. He doesn't have to be an enormous scorer, but he can be a 65-point-a-year guy, and all the other things he does for you are worth, in this day and age, pretty close to $7.5 million. That's what I would do with the Martin Necas money. And if I had to create even more money in the offing, I wouldn't be shy about buying out Jesperi Kotkaniemi. But they won't do that. That's just me. That's what I would do. It's not what they would do. When we come back, Brian Geisinger on the upcoming NBA draft. Who will the first Duke player be off the board? Next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
I think a lot of what today was about for the Carolina Hurricanes was simply making it seem like Eric Tulsky was the guy. His opening statement started with, it's going to be a complicated offseason. Him cutting the figure as the GM saying, yeah, I know what I have to do, and I'm not afraid of the tough situations. Complicated offseason. We all know that.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Dr. Lori Travers at Travers LASIK. She is the Triangle's only LASIK specialist, and Travers LASIK is the only clinic that specializes in LASIK. And I have told you this a lot. My whole goal in life is to make other people's lives easier, and I tell that to my wife all the time. And here's how I'm going to make your life easier, and I'm also going to save you money. Dr. Lori Travers can take you to perfect vision in about 5 minutes per eye. It is totally affordable. They have an affordable calculator on their website at traverslasik.com, and 0% financing for 24 months is available, and they'll give you $1,000 off. It is incredible. You can afford this. Travers LASIK, Dr. Lori Travers, 919-510-6830. Did I mention that the consultation is free? traverslasik.com. Let's get rid of all the hassle. Save yourself some time and money. Travers LASIK, 919-510-6830, and traverslasik.com.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, it's bow time. So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan with Dr. Brenna Houlihan from Wake Med. She's here to educate us a little bit more on Men's Health Month. Now, we've been talking about colonoscopies and whether someone is considering or not to have colorectal cancer screenings because they're experiencing some irregular symptoms. What are those symptoms that people might see that you would recommend they seek care for?
So some of the symptoms you see is really just change in your bowel habits. You know, you go from being sort of regular one way, it gets skinnier, it changes in consistency. That's something to keep in mind, and as well as bleeding. However, most colon cancers are asymptomatic or without any symptoms for a very long time. So even if you're not having those symptoms, make sure you stay within those screening windows and make sure you're getting those screening colonoscopies, even if you don't have a single symptom.
Wow, really important to pay super close attention to certain things. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Houlihan. And if you have any questions or want to find a provider local to you, you can visit wakemed.org.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is Adam Gold.
There are people out there that just, you must draft a quarterback.
Yeah, why you don't want a quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. What is wrong with you? Oh, you don't want apple pie?
Right.
Come on.
A la mode? No, maybe I like brownies, okay?
I don't want it there.
The temptation.
Yeah, I don't need it. Because I can convince myself, apple's healthy.
Right.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Friend of the program, and I'm guessing Yankee fan, Eric Cole, pointed out that Aaron Boone, much like J.J. Redick, if he becomes the Lakers head coach, would have gone from 0 coaching experience to managing in that cauldron.
Oh.
Again, it's not about can you manage. It's not about can you make decisions. It's can you handle everything around. And I would argue, first of all, great call, great pull by Mr. Cole. But I would argue that that's exactly what has held Boone back. I mean, they haven't always had the greatest teams, but he has handled poorly. I think he probably leads Major League Baseball in ejections just about each year. He gets tossed a lot. But that's kind of a throwback. I kind of like managers getting ejected.
Right? I know.
We need more of that. We don't need less of that.
Spice things up.
We need more of it. I'd like to see Rod Brindamore get ejected from a hockey game just once.
Oh, man.
John Tortorella got tossed this year.
I know, exactly.
And then he wouldn't leave. He tried to bullet Bobby Valentine.
Right.
All right, the NBA draft is coming up in 6 days. Brian Geisinger, our Mr. Basketball, who has credits way too long to mention all of them. But you can find him at bgeis_bird, and then it will give you at least some of his credentials. He joins us, Mr. Basketball. I found it fascinating that somewhere over the last, month, Jared McCain supplanted Kyle Filipowski as the first Duke Blue Devil off the board. Do you agree with that? Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think I agree with it. I mean, it's for me, it's close. It really is. But as far as Kyle Filipowski, his stock slipping a little bit.
Right.
He didn't have a great combine, measured in with a negative wingspan.
Right.
And for a guy who
he has no wingspan, people. His arms are internal.
You don't often see that with big guys too. But I think for a guy who was sort of between, is looked at as a 4.5, or at least a 4 that you would maybe want to play 5 in some lineups, that is sort of a demerit against his, potential, credits for him to play 5 when you think about rim protection or pick and roll coverages you could use with him. And then he just sort of measured in kind of slow at the combine in terms of some of the foot speed drills. So as other prospects are gonna, work out well or, test well at the combine, whatever, they're gonna rise. Someone has to slip, and fair or not, it's sort of an obvious place for Flip is a guy that probably was not in a great position to sort of hold steady in terms of the stock. I still think, him slipping, to sort of the back, last, handful of picks of the first round seems a little too much to me. His shooting, the passing, his ability to play through contact. And I think also just his defense and rebounding were pretty underrated this past season. And I think him sliding to more of a complementary role in the NBA, not having to be such a play finisher like he was at Duke, start the possession and, with some 5-out looks and then be the guy to finish it at the rim or on a pick and pop 3, him getting to sort of be more of a spacer and a passer, which I really think are his best skills on that side of the floor, will allow him to settle into being, I think a nice role player on the next level. So, if it's, New York getting him at pick 24, or if it's Denver at pick 28, those are good places for him to land. And I think, those teams would be getting a pretty darn good player late in the first round.
Yeah, I think first of all, I think year one he was dealing with a hip injury, and I don't think he was 100% as the season wore on last year. He certainly didn't look like he was moving with the same fluidity as he was at the beginning of the year. So I'm not sure how that some of that wasn't in some ways injury related, and we know that in the NBA level, you're probably going to get banged up even more, so maybe that's a red flag anyway. But I just think he does so many things, but also, I mean, I guess this is a topic we'll get to eventually. It seems like there's a lot of usable size in this draft that is maybe more athletic than Filipowski is, and teams might be willing to take chances on that rather than, he can shoot, But is he a great shooter, or is he just a capable shooter? And maybe if Flip was a 45% three-point shooter as opposed to a 35% three-point shooter, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, this is guys like Kalel Ware out of Indiana, who's a really interesting stretch five prospect, or Yves Missy out of Baylor, who's not really like a stretch shooter, but is a guy that's got has sort of moved into that the late lottery fringe top 10 status.
Yeah.
The big guy out of Baylor who's very strong, explosive, really good when he faces up. And then you've also got Daron Holmes out of Dayton, who I guess was potentially kind of close to being Flip's teammate at Duke last season if he had actually left Dayton in the transfer portal. But Holmes is a guy that's basically been one of the best players in college basketball the last 3 years. Offers some stretch, can pass, and is more mobile on the perimeter. So even if he doesn't have like the bulk of Filipowski, he's longer.
Mm-hmm.
He's seemingly more mobile at the moment. And obviously, he's very skilled too. So when you have guys like that are popping up in the the middle of the first round, it could obviously that could have hurt a guy like Flip too. And as far as like McCain goes, jumping him, like Jared McCain's he's steady Eddie. Like he's just, guy's basically been floating as one of the top 3 or 4 shooters in the draft since the start of the season. He's strong. He's got a great attitude. He's a great off-ball player. He knows how to set screens and get open. He can handle a little bit too. So while he lacks some stuff in terms of size, athleticism, elite on-ball defense, he has these like marketable skills, especially the shooting off movement, that is any team can use. He's such a malleable prospect. So it makes sense for him to sort of like hold water. And as some of these other, fives were going to climb, it was probably going to hurt, a guy, 4 or 5 like Filipowski.
Brian Geisinger is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I mean, McCain is an interesting prospect, but doesn't his height, he's not a point guard, right? So doesn't the fact that he's only 6'2" kind of hold him back?
Yeah, I think it is. But he's so good at the things he does well. I think there's another guy, Reed Shepherd, out of Kentucky, who I think if Reed Shepherd were like 6'6", he'd be like the number 1 pick. You know what I mean? If you had his exact statistical profile, just at actual NBA 2-guard height and size, would be sort of a different story. McCain is definitely bolstered by the fact that he's strong. That's like a really underrated skill to sort of compensate for maybe lack of elite, high end, quick twitch speed or burst. He's obviously really crafty too. And the thing that can level all of this is the fact that he just knows how to get open without the basketball. And when you have a guy like that, and Duke featured him as a mover, they used him to set screens and for him to come off of screens this past season. They really worked, he and Mark Mitchell well together. Guys like that fit everywhere, not just shooters, but guys that can shoot from range and shoot off movement. And he's certainly McCain is definitely a guy that would, during interviews, during workouts, his personality is really going to shine through because he's like a team first guy who really works hard and brings a good attitude. So he has some of the intangibles along with, again, the shooting, the strength profile, and the movement profile that makes him a pretty special prospect, even with some of the frame limitations.
Brian Geisinger at @BGuys_Bird is joining us here. NBA draft is next Wednesday. Armando Bacot's been a great player in this league for a long time, holds a lot of North Carolina records. DJ Burns had an incredible finish and took America by storm for NC State at the end of the year. I have not seen a mock draft that has either of them being drafted. I guess I'm not entirely surprised at that. But what are your thoughts on prospects for them?
Yeah, definitely not surprised. And honestly, for guys like that, it's sometimes not a bad case to. It's almost better to go undrafted and have some agency in terms of picking your landing spot. Picking which team you want to sign on with as an undrafted free agent and go into summer league and training camp with, than it is to be the 57th pick, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's great to get drafted, but then all of a sudden you're going to play for, whomever the pick is, And I just think for those two guys, Bacot especially still has a chance to crack a spot in the NBA. Like he's got great size. He's incredibly strong. And I think Bacot also made big time strides. He's not like an above the rim player, but he knows how to set screens and dive. He's sort of better on the glass and now the post, but he can be a screen roll, 5. And also he did a nice job this past season as a drop center in UNC's no middle defense. I thought he was a pretty good anchor for them at times. So there's a pathway for him to I think carve out a backup spot in the NBA. Burns has so much skill, the passing.
Yeah.
Is there any chance he could step out and shoot threes? I mean, never saw that at State, so I'm not sure it's something you want to put a ton of stock into. And it's great that he's gotten in better shape, but I'm just not sure he has the screen roll ability. So we'll see. I think both guys have a shot. It depends on where they catch on and how they play in the summer, and maybe getting a G League spot and what happens ahead of them, with injuries or trades and all that sort of stuff. All this to say is there definitely is a pathway, but it's just tough because those guys are, they're both centers. They're not playing other positions, and they don't really offer the absolute discrete set of skills that a lot of sort of bench centers do in terms of screen roll, run, jump, that type of stuff. That's not really their game.
Yeah, and neither of them are, really tall, right? Bacot's not a 7-footer, nor is DJ Burns. All right, final thing for you, Brian Geisinger, and we kind of, hinted at this in our texts back and forth before we came on. There's really nobody who is automatic at the top of this draft. Part of me wonders, is this draft really good? Or are there a lot of really good players, but nobody has separated, which is why the betting market for who's the first pick could be hysterical coming up next Wednesday. The latest I saw from Sam Vecini and The Athletic is that, Donovan Clingan from UConn as the first pick, and I'm like, really? That's the best guy? The fact that Zach Edey is mentioned in the lottery is a little bit of a surprise to me because I think he's just kind of slow, he's big, he's huge, but I just think he's slow, and the NBA doesn't play that way anymore. What are your thoughts just on the overall draft?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a crazy draft. And it's, at this point, there's a lot of smoke out there. So you got to be a little careful because there's just conflicting rumors floating in 8 different directions with, every top 25 prospect, it seems like. Look, this draft is missing the obvious, franchise altering guys at the top. And it's a little low on, I would say, sort of wing creators. Right. There are some interesting guard creator types, your Rob Dillinghams, who is all of a sudden sliding, and I think he's got too much talent for that guy to fall out of the lottery or something like that. But then you also have a guy like Nikola Topic, who played for Red Star in Serbia. He's a guy that I could see being the best player in the draft. He's a 6'6" guard that has a good first step and can get into the paint. He can pass, very creative finisher. But he just had an ACL injury. So he's going to probably slide to maybe somewhere between 8 or 10 now, even though he's a guy that probably should have been a top 3 or 4 prospect.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Ron Holland II a lot, and I'm not really sure why he's a guy who seems to be, again, sort of maybe sliding out of the lottery or sliding to the back end of the lottery. This is a guy who's arguably the best athlete in the draft and was being mocked as the number 1 pick a season ago. I know he didn't shoot it well for G League Ignite. There's some decision-making concerns. And then Clingan is a really nice prospect. I think there's an obvious path for him to carve out a role in the NBA, a drop center who can pass a little bit from the high post, but to be the number 1 pick, ooh, man.
That's kind of my point. There's maybe we don't have one of those guys. Maybe there's just a lot of guys who can contribute.
Yeah, I think that's it. Which ultimately, like, I think the Hornets, for instance, at 6 have a great pick, because it's like, well, just depends on who falls to them, but just go find someone that can be a contributor. Maybe they've got an upside too. Maybe it's Dillingham or Holland, or maybe it's Dalton Connect out of Tennessee.
Yeah,
and you know what he's going to give to you in terms of shooting and his ability to sort of drive a little bit as well. But yeah, just like try to find rotation pieces. Maybe there's some upside to be gained. I think there are a couple of upside plays in the draft. I mentioned a few of those names. But yeah, I think ultimately this draft won't be determined until a couple of years out. You never know. Someone might pop and surprise us. But it does seem like there's still plenty of talent to be had, even if it's not there's not a Victor Wembanyama or a Brandon Miller or a LaMelo Ball or Anthony Edwards, at the top to really raise the overall ceiling.
Brian Geisinger at @BGeis_Bird, our Mr. Basketball. All right, I'm sure I'll bug you next week before the draft. I appreciate your time, my man.
Yeah, anytime, guys.
You got it. Brian Geisinger here on the Adam Gold Show. We'll come back. We'll rewind. There is something we talked about early in the program that was discussed yesterday at the NCAA level that you probably need to hear. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And even as the playoffs wind down in basketball and hockey, there's still stuff worth wagering on if you are so inclined. And FanDuel wants to give you incentive to just keep a little skin in the game. Open up the app and enjoy all summer long. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There is something for everyone every day all summer long. Go to FanDuel.com/AGS, FanDuel.com/AGS, and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 or older and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell has a great sense of timing, like bringing out Southern Blackberry Cobbler ice cream in time for summer. Rich ice cream with luscious blackberry flavor combined with flaky pie crust pieces and a blackberry swirl. The perfect summertime treat.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Elder Abuse Awareness Day is in June, and scams and fraud that target older adults is one of the worst forms of abuse. Learn how to identify, prevent, and report scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Minutes, available for you to view on YouTube. Search AARP North Carolina Minute and look for the AARP North Carolina Fraud Watch Minutes on YouTube. Learn more about this topic and others each week on AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts. You don't need a 4-year degree to have a rewarding career that makes a difference in people's lives every day. As a public power line worker, you'll build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system to keep the lights on in your community. 4 months in a community college program provides the training you need to begin your career as an apprentice line worker in public power. And being a local government employee in North Carolina comes with excellent benefits. To learn more about line line worker, and other public power careers, visit electricities.com.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
This is Adam Gold.
I got news for you. If I see a hammerhead shark swimming near me in open water,
nope,
we're gone.
Bye.
We're done. I'll be on the dock.
I'm done. I've seen Jaws. You can't fool me.
Yeah, I'll be on the dock.
Yeah.
I'll be, or in the boat or something. I will not be.
Yeah.
I will not be in open water.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We're going to rewind in a minute. Thank Brian Geisinger for stopping by to talk NBA draft. We talked to Chip Patterson earlier and Brett Friedlander working on some fun things for tomorrow. It's Friday already. Can you believe it?
Yes, I can.
Feels like this week has only been like 3 days long.
Well, especially when it has only been 3 days long.
It's amazing. We should do this all the time. So we're on YouTube. The show's on live on YouTube every day, right? I'm correct there?
Yes.
Go to the 99.9 The Fan YouTube page to watch it live.
Yep.
It's fairly straightforward and simple. You can subscribe to it, and you can simply watch us do the show. You can watch me stare at I don't know. Sometimes I look at the camera.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't.
Right. And
So,
you can comment about things that are said. Ask
So,
questions.
by the way, somebody, not just somebody, multiple people responded to the Who's Pat Perez from earlier in the program.
Nice.
He is a golfer, professional golfer, that chose to go play at Live, and we have no idea where he is now. Like, has anybody seen? I mean,
Right. He could be in the witness protection program.
most of them are.
Yeah.
Again, not holding anything against Bryson or the other guys who were there. Koepka, Rahm, Cam Smith. They got great players over there. There's no doubt there are great players there. But for the most part, people don't watch. I mean, it's roughly, 700,000 people watching a live event. And the number that's almost like a peak.
Right.
Whereas the PGA Tour, even their lower events, are getting between 1.5 and 2 million people. It's not this was not meant to be a comparison, but that's where Pat Perez, he's playing on Live, so nobody really know. And he was sort of just a journeyman PGA Tour player. Somebody did point out that he had long hair. He kind of does.
Okay.
He has a mullet.
Right.
Pat Perez has a mullet.
Who's the other golfer that has a
Cam
mullet?
Smith.
Yes, that one.
But Cam Smith is like legit, although it's been a rough year for him for the most part. Anyway, so you can contribute, you can interact with the show on the YouTube page if you wish. And YouTube user, that's fantastic. YouTube user wants to know my thoughts on the Duke basketball practice clips that just got released. This is going to come as a shock to YouTube user. I have not seen them.
Right.
I will say this. My son is playing at the Duke basketball camp today.
Oh, okay.
The next 4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, the John Shire camp. He did it last year.
It's fun.
He loves basketball. It's a little bit of a break from soccer, which is what he's better at. So for 4 days, he's going to basketball himself silly.
There you go.
He sent me a picture of him and Cooper Flagg.
Okay.
Who was Duke's top recruit.
Right.
And I just responded, Cooper did not look thrilled to be with you.
Yeah, you are more excited about this picture than Cooper is.
But Jack takes pictures with stupid expressions on his face.
Oh.
Like, it's just, he's 15 years old.
Isn't that what the kids do
15-year-olds do that, right?
Make weird
So
faces.
anyway, so I have not seen the Duke basketball clips. I can say this. We talked to John Shire yesterday. The entire team, but for Tyrese Proctor and Caleb Foster, right?
Mm-hmm.
The entire team is new.
Right.
They got 10 new players.
Exactly. It's
So
a whole new team.
An enormous recruiting class, big in size, as well as how many incoming freshmen. But they also went into the transfer portal for a bunch of guys. So there's a lot. I mean, you're going to recognize Proctor, you're going to recognize Foster,
That's it.
You're not going to recognize anything else.
John Shire.
And Shire and my friend Chris Carrawell. Yeah. So anyway, I haven't seen the clips, but feel free to comment on the on whatever it is
on the YouTube channel
that we're doing here.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of basketball, here's something that all college basketball fans listening should be aware of. The NCAA took a break from lobbying Congress to protect them from athlete employment status. Congress doesn't care. They took a break from that to send a proposal to the Division I commissioners that outlines plans for expanding the men's basketball tournament. So right now we're at 68. It gives us first four games, 2 each played Tuesday and Wednesday of the NCAA tournament week. And there were 2 different proposals sent, according to Ross Dellinger from Sports Illustrated. I'm sorry, Yahoo Sports. He's with Yahoo Sports now. And his reporting says that they discussed adding 4 teams and adding 8 teams. Not going to get into the particulars of why I think 8 is silly. 4, I get. It would balance out the 4 regions to where we would have 4 16 versus 16 first 4 games and 4, let's make it 11 versus 11 first 4 games, and they would all advance into the main draw, so all 4 brackets would look the same. I am in favor of doing something like that, even though I don't think you can make a valid argument that there are more deserving teams than spots for them. I think you can make the argument that we take the least bad of the teams available to fill spots. And I think it should be the other way, but they don't really care. They think that the more games equal more revenue, and honestly, they're probably right. And I don't think you're going to kill the tournament, but that's just so they're going to expand it, so we should all have that kind of at the forefront. One more thing before we rewind. Cam Abbott was named the head coach of the Chicago Wolves. If you're wondering, who are the Chicago Wolves? They are the Carolina Hurricanes AHL affiliate, once again after a couple of years of affiliation. Last year, the Wolves management got mad, decided, nope, we're ending it. We're going to do it ourselves. They stunk. Carolina still ended up sending some players there, but ultimately they realized that they were better moving forward with the Hurricanes as an affiliate, and the Hurricanes in the new deal have control over the hockey. The Wolves front office has control over the business, and the Hurricanes have control over the hockey, which is the stuff that matters to them. So you'll see all of Carolina's best prospects with the Wolves next year and not scattered all over the American Hockey League. Some were there, some were in Springfield last year. So Carolina's best players will all be with the Chicago Wolves. So that's good. Cam Abbott actually played his professional career in Europe and played most recently in Sweden, but has been a coach there and is now going to be the head coach for the Chicago Wolves. So there is that. One more thing, and then we'll do a quick rewind. And for me, as we just transition to the Hurricanes for a second, we talked to Eric Tulsky yesterday. There's a lot of information out there about trade rumors and whatnot. I haven't heard anything that is in any way concrete about anybody. I do think the Hurricanes are almost certainly going to trade Natchez because he is an asset that can help them bring in things that they need. They don't want to do it for future draft picks and things like that, although considering he's going to be paid $7-some-odd million by somebody, that team, I don't know, maybe that team will be in it for future draft picks and prospects. But if you're the Hurricanes, I think you have to turn Natchez into a sure thing. I have one caveat to that. If you trade Natchez for futures, first-round pick this year, maybe a first, maybe 2 firsts, I don't know. If you do that, that does free up whatever monies he might have gotten to go dip your toe into the free agent pool, in which maybe that can get you something you really need, like wishful thinking and Elias Lindholm.
Yes.
The Hurricanes need a right-handed centerman. They need somebody who plays with a little bit of animosity, and Lindholm can do that. But he's a 200-foot player. He is an elite defensive center as well. And I think that if the Hurricanes come out of the summer, come out of the next month, and they have Elias Lindholm on the squad, I think it will have been even a more successful summer than it might otherwise already have been with the retention of Jalen Chatfield. And I know they're going to sign Seth Jarvis, and I think they will sign Jordan Martinook and probably Stefan Nason. There's a lot of things to do, but they're going to have to trade Natchez because he is a huge, huge asset. All right, let's do a quick rewind, shall we? All right. The Big 12 is exploring private equity as a way to enhance their bottom line and bridge the gap, the financial gap between their league and both the SEC and the Big Ten. It comes with some dangers. Chip Patterson, who joined me earlier, I asked for his thoughts on private equity dipping their toe into college athletics.
College athletics has been run in a way that is not financially sound.
No way.
College athletics, what'd you used to call it? A no crap exclusive?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those today, by the way.
Yeah. I think that there's also part of the way that college sports needs to be run that should not be financially sound. And it's because we deal with emotions.
Right.
Because the whole idea of why college sports is part of the American sports culture is emotions. It is your emotional tie to a place where either you attended it or you grew up as a fan or you lived near the area for ways that cannot be computed on a spreadsheet. You are willing to give of yourself, your time, your energy, and yes, even your money when it comes to tickets or merchandise or anything of the like, donations for those who are in a different tax bracket. I think that if you try to take the larger college sports model and you hand it to people that are only based in ROI and the spreadsheet approach to life, then you're going to lose even more of the soul than you would argue that we've already seen continue to be stripped away as the money has gone up.
First of all, I thought that was a fascinating conversation with Chip about how to maybe increase revenue. Some of it we don't like. Some of it we think is definitely viable. When it comes to sponsorships and naming rights, those will be all well and good. I don't think you're really going to bridge the gap. But so I encourage you to go to YouTube, go to the Best of the Adam Gold Show, and go listen to that entire conversation. Go watch that entire conversation.
And you could see Chip on YouTube.
You could see Chip on YouTube. It's even better. And I may or may not have been looking at the camera. So there's all of that. I will say this. Private equity comes with a lot of dangers. And I think that smart leagues, and I think the ACC is a smart league, you'll stay away from it. You'll stay away from private equity. But I do think that as a conference, you should be willing to put everything on the table otherwise to bridge the gap. Let's talk in real terms here. The ACC is not going to be a better league if Florida State and Clemson are not in it. They're not going to be a better league. Or if North Carolina is not in it. Or if NC State or Virginia is not in it. The goal for the league should be to maintain the schools you've got. And frankly, down the road, jettison a few off. But let's just where we are. If selling naming rights to your football season or your basketball season or your baseball season or putting advertisements on uniforms or on fields or on helmets or having all coaches tattoo Bojangles on their neck, if that gets you enough money to bridge the gap, then you do it. I mean, corporate sponsorship is everywhere. Why wouldn't we do that? So, it's going to be an interesting stretch of college sports here. Victoria, thank you very much. Fun stuff tomorrow, I promise. See ya. Bye.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man, Coach Pete D'Arruda, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. He is a retirement planning guru. Everybody's got an expertise in life. Coach Pete D'Arruda helps people